Today we're going to talk about how to run a proper day two. I think it's very appropriate that I'm doing this video right now since I'm now living in Vegas and almost never doing anything resembling a day two. And also because my day twos of late, if I ever do them, are when I'm traveling. So I don't have a lot of time. It has to close on the day two. I can't go to day 3, day 4, day 5. So it's interesting to talk about dating per se in a situation when you're not actively dating, as in going on dates yourself. But I think that's actually useful in a way, because one of the big things that you want to do in terms of your day twos, in terms of setting up plans, having rendezvous with women, is you want to avoid that dating frame, because it can tend to get in the way. It can tend to draw out your interactions and can tend to make it a situation where you have to spend a lot of time, spend a lot of money to get a result, which is not something I'm personally in favor of. If you personally like doing that, by all means go do it, but it's not something I'm in favor of for a number of reasons. So how do you run a day two the Todd method, so to speak, or I guess the pickup community RSD method? Well, there's a few different things, but one of the biggest things that people don't think about enough on their day twos is logistics, okay? For me personally, logistics are absolutely paramount on a day two. I had a rule for a long time that, which I should follow this to this day, but occasionally I do like slip up on it, or I'll make exceptions, and almost every single time I make an exception, it ends up blowing up in my face, but still, because I'm an idiot, I keep making exceptions. But the rule is, do not ever take a day two where the logistics are not favorable for sex. Ever. Ever. Let me emphasize that. Do not ever take a day two where the logistics are not favorable for sex, because it's the most frustrating experience you'll ever have in your entire life. There are very few things worse than going on a day two, ending up with a girl in the middle of nowhere, halfway between where you live, halfway between where she lives, and having it be a situation where you'd like it to go down, but there's too many cars involved, it's too awkward, and it's too hard to justify why you don't just see her on another date and have it go down then. And then what happens? Of course, it goes cold, or she meets another guy, she gets buyer's remorse, she realizes it went too far too fast on the first date, and then all of a sudden, all the good work you've done is for nothing, or even worse, because she's nervous that she'll have sex with you next time, she actually won't see you for a day 3, and so you've actually gone backwards by having a great date. So you want to avoid that at all costs. Have your day twos in a situation where you can have sex. In fact, the real version of the rule that I used to have is any girl that will not come to me for a day two, I won't accept the day two. So for 2 reasons. Number one, because where you live is the best place for logistics, because you control who opens and closes the front door. But also because if a girl won't come to you on a day two, a lot of times it's a day two where it's just not that on yet, and it's going to be a waste of your time. So I say you're better off spending more time on the phone, doing a better job getting her out, or even saying you're not interested in making plans for another day in order to get the day two on your terms. A lot of times girls will ask for a day two on their terms, and if you go along with it, it's almost as though you've lost value, and in any case, it's not going to go very well. But a lot of times if you actually say, no, never mind, it sounds like you're busy, let's just do it another time, suddenly, all of a sudden, they'll make time for you and come do it on your terms, or they'll arrange to do it on your terms a couple days later, and all of a sudden it'll be much better. I think girls have a lot of respect for guys who aren't so eager to get the day two that they'll actually not just stand for bullshit, and they want it on their terms only. So that's my philosophy. My other philosophy for day twos, a lot of people ask the who pays, who doesn't pay question. My philosophy is I'm willing to pay, but I'll take them to a place where I don't mind paying. I'm not going to take them to some expensive-ass place, but I'm willing to pay, but it's their job to come to me. I feel like that's the man's role to provide, the woman's job to be brought into the man's world. So if the girl will come to me, I will pay. And sometimes girls will insist on me going to them, and a lot of times I'll even flip it. I'll be like, look, I'll come to you if you pay, but I can't be the man and the woman in the relationship. It's a bit demanding. You may even see it's a bit cheap, or a bit like, whatever, I'm not a gentleman. Oh well, I'm not a gentleman, but I'm getting laid a lot by hot women, so fuck you all. But basically, look, it's important that both parties be invested to some degree, right? You don't want a one-way interaction. You don't want a one-way interaction where you're providing everything, the girl's providing nothing. Actually, you wouldn't even want it too much if the girl's providing everything and you're providing nothing. You probably wouldn't even value her. You probably wouldn't even respect her at some level. But in any case, make sure that she's committing. Make sure that you don't fall into the typical dating frame where it's going to be you're spending a lot of money on her, you're chasing after her, you are trying to appease her, and you're trying to win her over, and she has the choice of she knows you'll have sex with her and she can just draw it out for as many dates as she wants and doesn't even ever have to. Okay, you don't want that frame. So make sure, again, logistics are good, it's on your terms. and go to a place, focus on, rather than trying to impress her with money or impress her with how nice the place is, go to a place that's fun, where you'll enjoy yourself anyway, where you like what you're doing, if it's eating, drinking, having an activity, where you like the activity you're doing, and you can have a fun time. Ideally on a day 2, you should be having fun whether the girl was there or not. That's the ideal day 2, because again, it should be an opportunity for the girl to get to know you as you are, to be invited into your world. So that's the objective here. So I'll tell you a little bit about like the best day 2s ever that when I have my logistics right, what my day 2s look like. So what my day 2s look like when my logistics are good and I'm living in a good place is, I'll invite the girl out. I'll say, hey, let's go grab a drink. I know a place. I'll send you an address. And then what do? I text them the address of my apartment. Not of the place we're going, of my apartment. Then they come to my apartment. They get there. They go, wait. I get like a call or a text. Wait, is this your place? I'm like, oh, you're outside. I'll be right down. Come down. Grab them. I want to start physical from the beginning. Minimum a hug. Any girl that's come to visit you on a day 2 should be willing to give you a hug. If she doesn't, she's a weirdo. All right, either that or she's like some kind of weird, devout Amish, Buddhist, Muslim something. I don't even know. In any case, you should be able to get physical right away. And if you can't, that's a problem, but at least try and find that out. Okay, so get physical right away. Then the next thing I will do is I'll invite her up into my place. But I don't say, do you want to come into my place? I say, hey, you know what? I left my wallet upstairs. Let me go grab it real fast, and then we're just going right around the corner. So I'll go out, grab my wallet. I will walk her into the place, but I will, again, not invite her in. I'll just walk through the door and assume she's following me. Be very assumptive. Every time you're closing, every time you're pulling, every time you're moving something forward, every time you're escalating, be assumptive. Don't narrate it. Just let it happen naturally. Okay, so I'll walk her up, let her get comfortable in my place for 5 minutes or so while I go grab my wallet, wash my hands, whatever, use the restroom, and then I will grab her back out and I will take her out. I will not try and have sex with her right then when she's in my place. She will probably be way too nervous. It will probably not go down. You get LMR and it won't work. It's a bad idea. But at least you got her comfortable in your place. Because she's now comfortable in your place, she cannot later say, oh, I can't go up to your place, that's too dangerous, it's too sketchy, whatever. She's already been there. So you've eliminated one objection already. Super important. My entire day 2 strategy, which gets me laid on something like 80 to 90% of day 2s, is to eliminate every objection before it comes up. Give her every objection she's going to give to you before she gives it to you. So you're systematically, Julian calls it covering the exits. You're removing all the objections before they come up. Okay, so once you leave your apartment, you go out to the day 2. Go out, have a bite, have a drink, go do some activity, whatever it is you've decided on. I personally just do a drink. I don't think it's the best day 2 ever, but I know it's convenient, it's easy, and it requires no effort on my part. And if I'm getting laid 80-90% on a drink, then why would I complicate things? So personally, that's what I do. I know the best date I've ever been on is taking a girl to Krav Maga class, because that will get her in an adrenaline-fused state of mind. It'll be bringing her into your world. She'll be a bit scared, and you'll be the big, strong protector man, and it's amazing. The girls I've taken to a Krav Maga class, the girls who have actually agreed to go with me to a Krav Maga class, by the way, I was doing Krav Maga at the time, and I was pretty good at it. By the way, for anybody who doesn't know, Krav Maga is an Israeli martial art, little other side note. By any case, the girls would get revved up, and I've had the best dates I've ever had, and the girls got super, super turned on. Girls that like would not even kiss me were like jumping on me and like having sex with me in the car outside. Okay, so it's an amazing date, but it's hard to get girls to agree to do it. It requires a lot of time, a lot of planning. It's a lot harder. So it's great, but it's a lot of effort. So for me personally, I'm lazy. I do what's easy, and I'm getting good results with it, so I stick with it. So I just go grab drinks with the girls. That's what I do. So I take them for a drink. And on the way, I want to be constantly escalating. Like, for example, if I'm walking across the street, maybe I'll grab their hand in some cute way. I'll be like, hey, my mom always told me to hold someone's hand when I walk across the street. It may be cheesy, it may be a little clunky, but it gets the job done. It gets the escalation there. Nextly, I almost never will sit opposite sides of a table from a girl where you can't touch her. I've relaxed this rule recently because I've become very sexual and it's become very easy to escalate, but especially if you're learning. You want to be in a situation where you can escalate during the day too. There are very few things worse than having a nice long hour or 2 hour conversation over dinner or even over drinks where you can't touch the girl. It just puts everything on pause. You don't want that. You want to be constantly escalating, constantly moving it forward on the day too. Beyond that, you want to be giving her all kinds of reasons why it will not go down, right? All this stuff like, I have to get up early, I like to take it slow, etc. All the excuses she's going to be giving you, you want to be giving to her throughout the day too. At the same time, though, you want to be seeding and finding out about her different things you could do together in the future, like on future dates, different things you could do together later that evening. For example, if you have some cool videos you can show her, or if you play an instrument, or if there's like a scrapbook of pictures and there's something she has to see, or if you want to show her this interesting website, whatever. Anything like that that's an excuse to bring her back to your place later is useful. So start putting those things out there and see what excites her, see what she likes. If she happens to jump on board with one of them, then you can use that again later as the reason to bring her back to your place, okay? So you want to be out there doing your thing, getting physical, getting to know her, building comfort, but gradually building that physicality. And by physicality, I don't mean like necessarily making out hardcore with her, I just mean physical intimacy. Holding hands is great, stroking her arm is great, maybe kissing a little bit and then pulling away is great, but you don't want to be that guy that's going for everything he can get the moment he can have it. You want her to feel like you're leaving something on the table, like you're sort of holding back, like she doesn't fully know you can have you. If she ever knows completely she can have you, all the tension is lost. So you want to keep that tension even while you're escalating. And meanwhile, again, you're building in all these different reasons why you could go home together. And take your time. Take your time on the date. Have fun, enjoy yourself, that's important too. Remember, pickup is not just about the objective, it's about having fun. If you're not having fun with it, what is the point of all this shit? Honestly, what is the point? Okay? Also, the more you're having fun, the less outcome dependent you get. Handily enough, the better it works. So it's nice that those two things kind of mesh. Alright, so take your time, escalate. When you get the vibe that it could go down, at that point, you might want to leave and start walking her home. When you walk her home, do not make a big deal about coming inside. Right? When you get close to home, just keep talking no matter what. You want to talk no matter what. Open your door, keep talking, open your door, walk through your door as you're talking, and just keep it going, okay? You don't want that awkward pause. You know that movie moment of that awkward pause where you're like jingling your keys and she's wondering if she's going to get a goodnight kiss. Number one, you should have already kissed her before you get her home most times. But number two, you don't want that awkwardness. Just walk in the door and let it be awkward if she doesn't come in. Let it be awkward to not go, all right? Again, people will do what is the least awkward scenario. So if you make it awkward to say no to you, they probably won't. If you make it awkward to say yes to you, they probably won't, okay? So make it easy. Just assume. And most times they will just follow lead, especially if you're talking. If they would have to not only say no, but also interrupt you to say no, most people will not say no to that. Most people will follow social courtesy and just follow you in, okay? Now, once you're inside, again, take your time. I cannot emphasize this part enough. Take your time. Let her get comfortable. Relax. Take 5 minutes. Just chill out. Grab a drink. Turn on the TV. Use the restroom. Let her get comfortable in your place again. If you try and do something right away, like not waiting those 5 minutes, will cost you an hour of like bullshit later, if not costing you the entire interaction, all right? Take your time. Relax. Move it slowly. Progress it slowly. And with respect to physical escalation, the thing is 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Push it to right where there's about to be resistance, and then ideally pull back before there is any resistance. Okay? You don't want to push it too hard, too fast. Be patient. Enjoy the interaction. Recognize that up to a certain point, you can always have another interaction. Up to a certain point, you can always try again later. If you push past that point, you will no longer have that available. Okay? So, recognize where that point is. I call that the point of no return, and I want to be very, very careful about that point. Okay, so I don't ever want to cross that point and then not end up going all the way. I don't want to cross the point of no return and not have sex, because that's when you end up with girls that flake on you, girls that never see you again. You want to either end up on this side of the point of no return where it's fun and casual and you can get a day 3, or you end up all the way on sex. So when I'm getting close to this point of no return, this point of like heavy escalation, if I don't sense that it's really on, I will actually slow it down myself. I will actually say, hold that thought, hang on, I'll get up, I'll go to the next room, grab some water, maybe bring her a glass of water, chill out, bring it back to her, and then maybe say we're on the bed, I'll go sit down on the chair across the room instead of even coming back to the bed, just to make her wonder, just to make her realize that I'm not just going to take everything that's given. And it does 2 things. Number 1, it makes her relaxed and comfortable because I didn't try and rape her when I had a chance. Number 2, it makes her wonder if I really like her. It makes her chase a bit. So she's working just as hard through that point of no return as I am. I want to blast through that point, not just like limp through it. Okay? Beyond that, keep pushing it forward. Recognize that you will get some resistance most of the time, but there's a difference between real resistance and token resistance. There's a difference between like giggling, ha ha ha, this is funny resistance, and serious resistance. If you get serious resistance, stop. If you get a serious hard no, stop, all right? This is not rape, okay? If you get a hard no, stop. But if you get just kind of like little objections here and there, and she's still giggling, she's still having fun, just back off, chill out, try again as long as she's laughing and having fun. That should be just fine, okay? Also remember, with respect to that, you should have given her most of these objections ahead of time so you'll get far fewer. For example, I like to take it slow. I'm not that kind of boy. I have to get up early in the morning. We can't have the sex tonight. anything like that. There's a million others. But anyway, the more of those that you can seed in there, the better off you'll be, because if she brings them up, you can be like, yeah, I told you that half an hour ago. Stop it, weirdo. And then she's the weird one for bringing it up, instead of you being the weird one for trying to push forward and win the vibe, okay? So that's it. That's a general idea. I think a lot of the topics in terms of last-minute resistance that have been covered in other videos, so I'm not going to go super in-depth on that, but that's a good general structure for how to organize your date. So to summarize, what are the key things? Number one, focus on logistics. Logistics are absolutely key. Do not take dates where you cannot get laid. Number two, if you can get her into your place ahead of time at the start of the date, do so. If you can't, that's fine. It's not necessary. All these are little things that will help you. None of them are absolutely necessary to get you laid on a date two, but they all help. They all add to the percentage chance that you will. Number three, get physical right away. Set the tone for the date from the first second. Even if it's not a lot of physical, set the tone that you're that type of guy, right? Set the tone that that's what's going to happen. This is not a platonic interaction. You want that clear from the get-go. Remember, if she's driven to come see you, which ideally, if you're doing the dates on your terms, she has, she's made a commitment. She doesn't want to commit to that, drive all that way, come see you, and immediately within the first 30 seconds turn around and end the date. She's looking forward to having a good time. She's excited about the date, right? She doesn't want to turn around. She doesn't want to reject you. So she's looking for every reason to like you. Take that to your advantage and escalate early, all right? With that said, have a good time, giggle, joke around, keep the frame, and also give the objections before you get them. Make yourself the hard to get one. At the same time, seed reasons to go back to your place. Once you get back to your place, take it slow, take it easy, but constantly, inevitably move it forward. All right? That's it. That's how to do day two.